Paul Lil Sutton.
La Lil Sutton.
Welcome to... Ooh.
Whose pussy is this? Hi.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Sleesh and M.
What it do?
That will never get any less awkward.
I don't see what it do, baby. Which has been copyrighted, so...
Facts. So we got some wishes.
Yeah, we thought we'd jump right back into doing 3 wishes after our general podcast.
Yeah, content-heavy podcast.
Yeah, that's the one. So we got some cool questions on the gram, so we thought we'd just kind of get into it and answer them. We chose quite a few goodies.
A bit of a mux.
A bit of a mix. A mix. But yeah, something that we can answer and hopefully it's relevant to everybody.
Yeah.
Or at least to some of you. Okay, so our question is, and this came from a thing that we put out a little while ago. How soon is too soon to be asking, what are we?
In terms of being in a relationship with someone...
Dating, I think it's kind of figuring out literally what are you with that person, but is it going to be a relationship, or are you just fuck buddies, or are you just friends?
I feel like the only time you would ask what are we is if you want something more than sex, because if you guys are already fucking and you have no problems with that, you wouldn't even think about having that question.
Yeah, that's true. Or you've met someone else and you need to determine what's going on with this guy.
So you're like, does this classify as cheating?
Yeah. Am I cheating? Yeah, like, exactly. But then I guess, I don't know, like, I think it depends on how you establish your relationship.
What's the premise of the relationship? Did you guys start on Tinder and you're going on a first date and you haven't talked about sex, you've discussed that this is just a date to get to know each other?
Yeah.
Or did you guys just randomly have sex and now that you guys are having sex regularly? Are you guys previous friends that just randomly started hooking up?
Are you friends that fuck, or are you friends with benefits, or have you only hooked up like 2 or 3 times?
Yeah.
I think, like, if you've only hooked up with someone a couple of times, it's probably a bit soon to be asking what are we.
Yeah.
Unless you started on a really heavy, intense situation where, like, by 2 or 3 times it's been like consecutive days.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 days in a row, or like whatever.
Yeah.
And you're spending a lot of time with them.
I've had like what are we doing conversations on like the first time I've either hung out with someone or had sex with someone.
Yeah.
Only because it was just a really great communicative relationship. So
yeah.
It wasn't that we're like, oh yeah, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, or yeah, we're dating. It was just like, oh yeah, we're getting to know each other, we're figuring out what we are, we're taking it really slow, and we'll see what goes from there. That was kind of like the what we are conversation.
I think that can also happen when you're 2 people who are actually already looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
And so you need to establish it pretty quickly off the bat so you know what you're doing, because you don't want to like go on a couple of dates with someone and then be like, oh, I might just let them know now what I'm actually looking for.
That I'm just after sex.
Yeah, because by then you're kind of like, oh, what? Like, I don't know. Whereas I never have that conversation. If I go out with someone, I don't do it.
In saying that, I've only had like 1 date in like the past 2 years.
The most recent date that I went on that has developed into a situation of sorts.
Yeah.
The first date was like, I was like, yeah, I'm just after something casual.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if I say less, then they're going to presume more. And if I say too much, then they're also going to presume I want I was going to say a wife and kids. I want a husband and kids.
You can want a wife and kids. You don't know that.
It's true. Yeah, but so establishing that from the get-go made it so much easier because it cut all the crap. Now that there's no dates in between, it doesn't matter. It's not about that.
And it also just depends on the person, because I don't know what kind of relationship I want from someone until I've got to know them a bit. Because I'm open to anything. I'm not just after sex and I'm not just after a relationship. It just really depends on the person that comes into my life at that time.
Yeah, and what actually happens in that scenario, in that situation, how you vibe with one another.
Yeah.
Because someone might be, you know what they say on Love Island, he's my type on paper. And maybe on paper, that person is actually everything that you kind of think that you want until you, like, go out and have a chat or a meal and you're like, oh my God.
Until you see what kind of dress sense he has and you're like, no.
Yeah.
You're better with your clothes off.
His car's like real messy. I don't know.
Okay, so what advice would you give to someone who's either regularly hanging out with someone? So I would say this kind of conversations happens when you're in a situationship. So you're not friends with benefits, you're not just fucking, you're in between having sex and also there's some emotional ties or some kind of mixed signals in the process.
Yeah, I reckon this conversation comes up as soon as you start to question what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Like when it starts to either you've got feelings or they've got feelings, there's a shift in the energy, which you can always feel when the energy changes. But as soon as that shift happens and you start to go to yourself like, hang on, what the fuck is actually happening? What are we?
Yeah.
Then that's when you need to have that chat.
Yeah.
So there's not really any time that's necessarily
appropriate. It's not like a specific
it's
guideline.
not like, well, within 6 weeks, then it's okay to ask. As soon as you feel confused about where you stand is when you should really broach the conversation.
Yeah, and I think when you start feeling uneasy and you don't feel securely attached to the person, that's when you should have that conversation. Because if you guys are on the same page, then you're not going to be worrying about, oh, they didn't text me today. They haven't talked to me for 2 days. And knowing where you stand with them, even if it's just casual, you'll feel okay because you're like, it's okay, I know I'm going to see them next week. I don't need to hear from them every single day.
Exactly. And I think also it's important to be really honest with yourself when you're having these thoughts. Like, if you're like wondering, oh, what are we? Does that mean that you're the one who's caught feels and you want to pursue and go further? Or do you want to maybe just cool it now or whatever? Like, as soon as you start to feel not right about it, you need to be honest with yourself about what you actually expect from it. Because if you are fuck buddies or you are friends with benefits, there's a reason that you're not going any further or that you haven't in the past. Or those little red flags are showing.
Yeah. So I think just in conclusion, as soon as you feel confused, that's when you should ask.
Yeah. So if that is after 3 consecutive days of fucking, I mean, go for it. If you've got the balls to ask those 3 words, what are we? Then do it.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Next wash.
That's nice. It's unusual. Okay, next one. Cool. Okay, so I got this. I got it. We got this on the podcast as well.
On the gram.
I keep trying for sex, but it has slowed down and he isn't always as keen lately. What's up?
I feel like when a relationship is fizzling off, the first thing to go is sex.
Yeah.
Because I think you've had that as well.
I absolutely.
It's when you start falling out of love with someone, even before you've registered it in your head. And you might still love someone, but as soon as the sexual attraction goes, that's when you know your body's already saying, okay, I'm already out of this.
I agree with that, but I wonder if it's different with men.
Yeah.
They're very physical, but they're also quite complacent. Like, they're just so happy to just do whatever. So, I don't know. Like, yeah, maybe you need to spice some shit up. Like, maybe he's a little bit bored. I know for me, though, and for you in the past, for sure, the first thing that goes in my relationships or my whole 2 has been sex, though. Like, you just know it. But some guys don't have a very high sex drive.
Yeah.
Like, one of my ex-boyfriends did not have a high sex drive. Like, I would want to have sex all the time.
But I feel
he
like
would reject me every single time.
I feel like you should at least be having sex once a week, even if you have a low sex drive.
Oh, yeah, we had it once a week. It was very, very monotonous, like 11 p.m. on a Sunday night.
No.
Like, I could just almost guarantee it. Like, if I didn't get fucked on Tuesday, it wouldn't matter because I was getting sex on a Sunday night.
Because I'm very experimental and, like, I always love talking about sex after we have sex. I'm like, okay, let's do this next time. Oh, I like this time. Let's switch it up this way.
Yeah. And
I want someone to be in it on that. Well, that comes down to sexual compatibility.
It does. I think also, like, I don't like a routine. I don't want to know that I'm
gonna bang you on this time.
Yeah. Like it's kind of even annoying when you're trying to like schedule like a dick appointment. You're like, cool, I'll see you on Wednesday, and you're like, amazing. I know that I'm getting dick in 4 days. Like it's nice, but like it's not that exciting. Yeah. Like if you're in a relationship, especially, you shouldn't have a schedule. You should just go for it.
It should just feel natural and in the moment and be like, I just fucking want you bad right fucking now.
Right now, like no matter what else is going on around you. So
yeah, well, also this can just go back to sexual compatibility. Like, are you guys on the same page? Have you guys had like fucking wild sex in the past, and why has it stopped now?
Yeah, what slowed it down? Is there a change in like, are you both working like a lot more? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Is he real tired after work?
Maybe his turn on trigger is environment, and maybe it's just a mess at your house, and that's why he doesn't want to fuck you.
Yeah, you guys should do the quiz. That could be kind of a good idea, just to like see what's going on, and I think also maybe kind of communicate about it.
Yeah,
because it does make you feel really shit, like as a woman.
To not feel desired.
To not feel desired, but also when your partner turns you down, it makes you feel quite just, I don't know, average. Like you're like, oh, am I not sexy? Am I not good enough? What's going on? Maybe he's just masturbating a lot.
I think you should just have a conversation with him from the beginning. Like, what's happening? I just feel that we've changed in our sex life, and I don't want to know if it's me or if it's you being tired. Let's get on the same page. Let's work this together. Because if there's nothing wrong in your relationship and he still loves you and he still wants to be with you, if this is a problem for you, then he should be willing to work on it.
100%. And if you're in a relationship, you should be able to communicate about anything that's bothering you. And exactly, he should be willing to meet you halfway or compromise or somewhere so that you guys can get back on the horse.
I don't understand a guy who says no to a blowjob. Like, who's going to say no? I don't care how tired you are. I'm sucking your dick. Enjoy it.
Your penis is in my mouth already. Like, how are you not turned on? Also, I find sometimes when you're kind of not really in the mood for sex or you're a little bit tired, as soon as you start having it,
it just happens.
You're ready to go.
You're never too tired.
You're never too tired.
You're never too fucking tired to fuck someone that you love, or even just someone you just are attracted to.
Enough of. You just infatuated.
I can have sex 2 times in a row and be like, fuck, I still want you, and still have sex again.
100%.
I don't understand not being able to have sex at least once a week, no matter how busy you are.
No, exactly. Especially in a relationship. Like, I mean, yeah, maybe you could spice some things up. I don't know.
Yeah.
There might just need to be like a change in your approach, or
oh my god, have a shower together. Just do something different.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, are you guys living together? If you're living together, then really you can go balls to the walls.
Go on a staycation, just book an Airbnb, even if it's for one night, and just be in a different environment.
That's always fun. Pour a little something.
My little something.
You could do that. That's always good.
But yeah, if you've tried all that and you've had a conversation, I think then reassess, is there a problem in a relationship that's being implicated in my sex life?
Yeah, because honestly, you deserve to get dicked down. You really deserve a good
Imagine
dicking.
how many guys would dick you down if your boyfriend wasn't in the picture.
Honestly.
There's other dicks to be sucked.
There are so many dicks in the sea.
Exactly. So are you going to... You're going to stick it out for this one dick that doesn't want to fuck you?
Honestly, don't do it, sis. Our advice actually is always just to break up with him. Do that. If all else fails, break up with him.
Yeah. All right, next question.
Next cue. Okay. This one is a bit of a mouthful, so bear with while I read it. I actually really enjoy this question, and I know that you did too. Okay, so I'll read her whole message because it's cute. Hey, really enjoying listening to your podcast. Just finished the latest episode. I have a question that I'd like some advice on. When you're in a relationship, there's bound to be compromise, right? But also at a certain level, there are things that shouldn't be tolerated. In our generation, a lot of people's relationships don't tend to last, and people older than us are always saying it's because we have a low tolerance for things and don't compromise, meaning our relationships will eventually fail because both parties refuse to compromise to make it work. But I think it's maybe just that we have more respect for ourselves to not tolerate things and aren't afraid to put ourselves first from time to time. My question is basically, where do you draw the line for how much you're willing to compromise to make a relationship work? Yeah, this is a good one.
It's just finding the fine line between compromising to make the relationship work and compromising but suffering in the process.
Yeah, I think this is kind of, it comes down to, it's like in any relationship, as soon as it starts to like detriment, or is a detriment to like your health or your job or
your
your
happiness, your career, your goals.
Health. Did I say health? I don't know. But anyway, like, as soon as it starts to make you feel more shit than good, that's when I think you're maybe compromising too much.
Yeah.
And like, yes, for sure, our generation is quite we talked about this in the last podcast, like a cancel culture, or like you just don't want to give up, you want to give up shit immediately because you're like, fuck it, I can find something better.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what people tend to do as well, because old people, there is that saying, like, I can't really remember it off by heart, but basically they're saying, like, lots of relationships that last like 60, 70 years, instead of throwing something away when it was broken, they chose to fix it. And that's kind of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think in this day and age, we're kind of dealt with a lot more outer pressures than they used to have back in the day.
That, and also I feel like our generation has so much more access to information because of social media, which means we're more self-aware of what we want and what is out there.
Definitely.
There is the whole influencer fantasy relationship issue, but I think in general people just also have parents that are divorced or have been grown up in unhappy households, so they're more pickier because of that. But I think there's been a study where we're taking longer to get married, but our divorce rates are going down. So there is a plus in being a little bit picky.
Definitely. I think, like, I mean, I know we talked about this in one of our podcasts, maybe the first one, with finding the 3 loves of your life, and how, like, there are some people that we know are in relationships that maybe shouldn't, or, you know, aren't necessarily the greatest for them, but they are people who could be actually proving the fact that they go through their hardships and whatever else, and they still have made some compromise and tolerate those things within one another to be still together.
Well, the thing that makes most successful relationships successful is being agreeable.
Yeah.
Which means you're more willing to compromise.
Yeah.
So in turn, it is okay to be agreeable, but it has to be on both parts.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be giving and taking as much as you're compromising from both parties.
Yeah, definitely. It needs to be a very 50-50 split. Like, you can't be compromising 70% of the time for someone who's only going to do 30% back, or vice versa, because it's not really fair. And
I think this also comes down to figuring out what your boundaries are from the beginning on what you will and won't compromise on. Like, if you want kids and he doesn't, are you really willing to compromise on that?
Yeah, and that should be something that you just sort of establish from the jump, really, from the very beginning. If you know someone doesn't want kids, well, I mean,
you shouldn't really.
And that's something that, exactly, especially if it's something that maybe you don't know that you want kids yet, or you definitely do.
Yeah.
If you don't know, then maybe I think I would still reevaluate that, because that could change. I mean, they might change their mind about wanting kids one day, but are you willing to put yourself through all of that for someone who may never change their mind?
And I think the compromise should also not have any long-term effects. So, for example, you're not going to compromise a career opportunity that might not show up again. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think they should also, your compromises on what you will tolerate in a relationship should also never compromise like your values or your morals or your beliefs or what is really important to you. So, like, I don't know, for example, if you don't like people who are really violent or really aggressive, then, and you see that side in a person, then maybe that's something that you can decide whether or not you're willing to tolerate that part of them, or if it's something that you actually just cannot compromise with.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, someone who's like a real workaholic and you don't see them very often or something.
Yeah.
Like, if quality time being spent with someone is important to you, that's where you don't want to compromise it again.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be just a battle between two parties in terms of the compromise shouldn't just be 100% in one person's favour. There should be some sort of meeting in the middle. So, for example, if one person really likes to have dates on the regular, even if they're in a long-term relationship, but the other person is really busy with work right now, the compromise could be like, hey, babe, we can't have a nice fancy dinner every week, but let's make an effort to, like, once a month we'll make this day really special and we'll always make sure we get this done. That's compromise.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good example, because it means that you're both coming to agree with it. I think that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think and just put it simply, if you're more unhappy than you are happy, then leave the relationship.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you spend your time questioning all the things that you compromise and they don't bring anything to the table for you in that respect, then again, I would break up with them.
Just meet you halfway. That's all they have to do with meet you halfway.
And like we said in the last question, like if you are in a relationship and someone cares about you and they love you, they should be willing to do that regardless. Because that's what you do.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a fun question to finish up on. All right. Hey guys, I'm thinking of getting myself a sex toy, but there's so much out there. Would love to hear your thoughts on pleasing yourself, what you guys use, and even the whole process before, during, and after, and how you clean it, etc. What types of sex toys are there? What kind of orgasms do they give? What lube do you use, if any? Do you clean it beforehand and after? And what do you use to clean it? Solid question.
A good question.
There's a lot of questions in that question.
There's a lot in there. I mean, we're going to have to go back through like
Well, let's start with like how you please yourself. How often do you use your hands versus using a toy?
I sometimes use them both at the same time.
Sometimes I'll start with my hands and then end up with a toy.
Yeah, it depends on, I guess, to be honest, how horny I am when I masturbate. If I want to use Thai dollar sign or if I just want to go with my hands. And also how fucking lazy I am, because if I don't want to get out of bed to clean
it,
then I won't.
That's actually such a fact. And it also depends on like, am I just masturbating to clear my head, or am I masturbating because I want to feel because I want to feel like I'm fucked. Like when I'm craving sex, I need to use my vibrator because it feels like I'm being fucked.
Yeah, that's that. It depends also on how long it's been between.
Should I get my vibrator?
I don't know. Do you want to show it to everyone?
You have to clean it.
Okay, no, we don't have time for that.
Okay, well, this is probably not the right way, but I'm really fucking lazy and I'll clean it just before I use it. So if I'm too lazy and I've finished up, the last thing I want to do is get out of my bed and wash my vibrator after I've just fucking had an amazing orgasm. I don't want to get out of bed. I'm sorry.
No, that's the whole point about masturbating, is you don't have to get up to pee after.
Yeah.
It's the best thing. Like getting up to pee after sex, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But you don't want a UTI. You definitely don't want a UTI, so you always pee after sex. But after masturbating, you don't really need to.
No. So, to be honest, I just leave it in my drawer until the next time and then I wash it, and that's probably really bad. You should just wash it straight away.
I don't wash mine straight away.
Yeah, I used to. I don't know. It depends what mood I'm in, and it depends how many people are home. Because I have to do
you've got to do the run.
You're going to sneak into the bathroom and put your vibrator in your shirt?
Yeah. Yeah, you do. I haven't done it here yet, actually.
Really?
Since I moved in. I haven't cleaned it since I got here. I've only masturbated with him once since I moved in.
Okay, well, I'll explain what my vibrator is. Mine has like a shaft, and then that shaft like rotates, but then it's a rabbit vibrator, so it has like the rabbit that hits your G-spot and that vibrates.
Mm-hmm.
So I can either use just G-spot, or I could use just clit, or I can use both at the same time, which is what I usually do because I'm so used to it now that I need the full intensity.
That's true.
Yeah.
It actually ruins sex for you for a little while too. For me. If you masturbate a lot with your vibrator. Like there was a time where I don't even know when. It might have been earlier this year, and I was just like going ham on it.
Yeah.
And then I actually had to stop because I got too accustomed to it that when I had sex, it wasn't
as
the same. Yeah. And I was kind of like, why aren't you vibrating inside me right now? Like,
how dare you not vibrate?
How dare you not be? How come you're not thrusting in the right way? And it's like, because I can do it myself.
Exactly. But as far as what toy you should get for yourself, I think the best thing to do is actually just go into a sex shop and ask the people that work there. Also
figure out what, I mean, I hope that you've already had an orgasm, but figure out what it is that you like, and also what definitely makes you come, because there's so much out there at the moment that like you can get those ones that like suction on your clit, and they're
the
like
Satisfyer Pro too. Yeah, that's the one.
There's a bunch of them. Flex Mummy actually did like a review on a couple of them, which I thought was really interesting. I was like reading it. Or you can get like a little bullet one, which is kind of like a nice intro as well, because they're quite little and they vibrate. They don't really do that much, but like if you haven't used a sex toy before, it's like a nice way to start off, and they're not like super tiny, and they're not like a giant dick either. So they're just kind of a nice little happy medium that feels good inside you.
And it depends. Are you a clit girl or are you a G-spot girl?
Yeah.
Or are you both? And then that really decides what kind of tool that you need.
Yeah. Or you can do what Em's got, where she's got the both in one. Yeah. I like to use my hands and my vibrator because I do also need both. Sometimes I can go just with vibrator because he's like a little G-spot guy. It's like kind of like thinner at the base, and then it kind of goes up and opens up to like kind of a round, almost flat.
Mine's the opposite, where it's thicker at the base and skinny at the top, but I'm okay with that because that means it's not going to stretch me out. So when I do have a dick, I'm like, oh. I like using my hands here and there because when I orgasm, I can control my orgasm better with my hands than I can with.
Oh yeah, if I use my hands though, like I'm like, oh my god, I need to stop because I can make myself come in like 30 seconds.
Exactly. No, but like even when I orgasm and I can feel myself orgasming with my hands, I can like put pressure in certain spots. I can go faster or slower and make my orgasm last so much longer. But I feel like you should learn how to masturbate with your hands properly before you go onto a toy.
Unless you've never had an orgasm, in which case you might need a toy because it's going to help get you there a little bit faster, I think. Just because there's quite a few sensations going on.
And that way you can detach like your own personal body from...
Yeah, which sometimes can be really hard. You can kind of, I don't know, feel a bit weird or dirty or something for touching yourself with your own hands.
Yeah. As far as what to clean it with, you can just use antibacterial soap. You can also use that Dr. Bronner's 18-in-1 one.
Some like sex stores as well actually sell like a specific soap for your toys, which I think is fine. But I reckon as long as you use something that's like natural and antibacterial, it's usually fine. And just make sure that you don't leave any residue on it. Yeah. Because obviously that is going inside of you. I don't use lube. Yeah, I don't use lube either.
Wet enough.
Usually I'm not going to put my toy in until I know that I'm wet enough for it to just like slip on up in there.
Yeah, like because like we said, we use our hands first. So I use my hands to like I'll turn on my porn. I'll use my hands to like get me in the mood. And once I'm already wet, that's when I start using my toy.
That's also when you're really fucking horny and you're just like, oh my god, put it inside me.
Put it fucking inside
me. I'm horny.
And I'm hungry.
Oh, I'm not. I could. Anyway, I want to lay this on. What else did she say? So the lube, the toy.
How to clean it.
I think also definitely make sure that you can go into a shop and get some advice. Be willing to spend a little bit of money on it too. Like you can definitely buy some toys that are like quite cheap, but I think if you want something really decent that's gonna last. I would spend, I don't know, a couple $100 maybe.
The one that we both have our eye on, which
it's like $400.
It's something stupid. No, maybe $350. I don't know. It was something stupid, but basically, it was like a shaft, but it was like a silicone shaft, but it like thrusted back and forth.
Yeah, it moved up and down like that, like an actual, like a dick.
On its own.
It was amazing.
Imagine just lying there.
Well, you'd have to still hold it in there, I reckon.
I know, but like, imagine not having to manually thrust.
Well, yeah, sometimes I get a sore arm.
I get a sore wrist from...
from fucking myself.
But like, that's like, when I'll orgasm maybe once from my hands, and then if I'm still fucking horny, then I'll use that, and I'll like hardcore thrust, and I can come again, and it's amazing. Yeah.
I usually don't really stop until I've had like maybe 3 or 4 orgasms.
It depends how horny I am. And sometimes I can have a few, and then sometimes I'm like, one's enough.
Okay, well, I think that's well answered.
Yeah.
If you want any specific sex toy advice or something, I'm sure we can put a few things up. We could do a review.
We could. Honestly, if anyone knows I would love to be sponsored by a sex toy shop.
100%. Like, I'd do it. Oh, you might need lube, actually, if you like a butt kind of plug situation.
I want to try a butt plug situation.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Anyway, send us
if anyone wants to send us a butt plug,
some fried chicken,
one of those thrusty guys,
we're down.
Yeah, we're cheating on our vegetarianism today, and we're probably going to get fried chicken.
Amazing. But yeah, keep sending your questions because I know we kind of had a break, so people slowed down with their questions. But keep sending them through.
We're always listening. We read everything.
We save all the questions, so like we go back on them. Like one of the questions we got today was like from a few months ago, so eventually we will get around to them, even if we don't answer them straight away.
Yeah.
Deuces. That's it for this episode, fam. Thanks for listening.
If you have any questions, topics, or suggestions, you can DM us on Instagram. The link is in our bio.
And don't forget, whose pussy is this?
It's yours.
Deuces.
Bye.